You're watching Cairo Local Time on 9 TV Viewers, and in this edition of this program, we will be talking about boosting tourism and how can we encourage investors to come and invest in this vital sector. And dear viewers, in this context, we have with us today a very special guest, which is Mr. Mohammed Fawzi. And Mr. Mohammed Fawzi is a touristic expert. A very good day, sir, and it's a pleasure to have you with us in today's episode of Cairo Local Time. Sir, we start with shedding light, please, on the tourism boom that Egypt witnessed in 2019, which I need to know more about from you, sir.
This year we catch a very big number if we compare it by last 10 years. We catch about 9 million visitors to Egypt. It's very good. We have to take a target more.
So Egypt, you want to increase the target of tourists that come and visit Egypt?
Yeah, of course, because Egypt have many facilities help it to catch more. Our target have to be more than 50 million.
More than 50 million. So which is the most cities that tourists come to visit or target visiting?
In 2019, they come to Sharm el-Sheikh, to come to Egypt, to come to Luxor, Aswan. I think this city have many options. Beaches in Sharm el-Sheikh and Hurghada and Marsa Alam. Temples in Luxor, Aswan, Cairo. It's the same for the pyramids or something. Memphis, Saqqara. It's which some touristic like this kind of tourist. Okay, we can divide it. The tourist like beaches, tourist like pyramids and temple and so on. Tourist like seminars and evening and so on. Some tourists like the Arab, they like Cairo night. How to spend the night in Cairo. Our target have to be 50 million. This is my opinion, okay, because we have many facilities. We have a long beach. We have about 20% or 30% from the tourists in the world, temples and pyramids and so on. We have to know how to market.
Okay. A city like Taba, sir.
Yeah.
How can we market for a city like Taba?
Taba, it's market as a beach city.
Exactly.
Okay. As the same as a Dahab, as a Sharm el-Sheikh and
Northern coast.
Northern coast. If you wanted to market it as a beach, it have to be in summer only. Okay. Because in the winter, the desert you cannot swim. But you can invest in North Coast. Another thing, for example, for seminars, for meetings, we have a lot of things you can use it.
Sir, we see that President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi, of course, is paying so much effort in the new Alamein city, which is expected to be a new destination for tourists in the coming period. Can you tell us more about Alamein city and the means of grabbing foreigners to come and visit this very special place, which is expected to be not only in summer, but all around the year?
In Alamein, you can divide it to two parts of year. The summer, it will be for the beach. In the winter, you can use it as a meeting point and business center for the Middle East. I think they built a lot of towers, and now there is 3 or 4 famous chain of hotels. They opening there. It will be center as a business center for the Middle East. I think it will be very good if they market it.
Okay, sir, to which extent do you think that the Grand Egyptian Museum will help in attracting more tourists here in Cairo?
I will tell you something.
Tell me something.
In our museum now, they have a lot of parts is still in the stores. Okay, and
Still in the?
stores,
I don't understand.
the store, the store of the museum. A lot of pieces is still there because you cannot put it and show all of it in the same times.
So they're not displayed, you mean?
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay. And what I know it, they will start in the new museum to put all the pieces. That means all these pieces, if you take 20 seconds for each part of the museum, you need about 1 month directly. It's very good because we haven't a place like this one in the world. You will have a lot of pieces. You can show it to all the world, and instead of take the pieces outside.
You mean instead of taking them abroad
Yeah.
to other countries?
Exactly.
So where is the Grand Museum going to be held?
It near of the area of the Grand Museum. I think it will be all of it. It's
Together.
touristic
It's gonna
capital.
It's going to be...
Touristic capital because it is near from the pyramids. Okay, and we will have the maximum pieces. I think it will be the biggest museum in the world. Okay, this area have a lot of hotels already built, and they will build new. It will be the capital, I think, touristic capital of the world, not of Egypt.
So you pinpointed on the fact that to visit and to watch every piece of monument that will be there in the museum, it's going to take around, it's going to take in total around a month. How do you expect the tourists to come and visit the Grand Museum and see everything in a tour and leave?
You cannot see it in one time.
Cannot. So 3 days are not enough?
3 days it will be very enough because I know they make a coach to transfer between the parts in the museum. Okay. In the same time, it is kind of marketing. You have to need to see more. If you finish in 3 days, you know that there's something still you wanted to see it. You will come back.
Okay.
It is kind of marketing.
Okay, so a means of marketing for such amazing touristic sites in Egypt. What are the means of marketing from your own point of view?
Market, we have to know our guest first.
Our
guest, okay, and who we want to sell the program, to know the program as they need, okay, and when we start the marketing, we'll start marketing for long term. It is not for short term. Start marketing for 10 years and start selling for 2 years. You have to separate the marketing than the sales. When you make this one, you will have fixed plan for 10 years.
in advance.
You cannot do your business well. You will know this year how many you will catch next year, the 3rd year, 4th year, for the 10th year. This will be very good because in the same times now, who doesn't know who will come the next year?
Sir, as Egypt is expected to host Opera Aida, from your own perspective, how do you see that cultural events help in this boom that's taking place?
We make it before, 2 or 3 years before, and it succeeds very well because it markets very well. And if we use it this kind, also we have the facility and the source of this kind of tourist. I said to you, we have many kind of tourists. We have to use it.
Cultural events is one of the one. What else do we need to use? Culture, beaches,
and temples and pyramids and so on. Business for meeting. Okay.
Define business for meetings, sir.
a lot of company, big company, or doctors or engineering or so on, they come to have a meeting here in Egypt, okay, to discuss, for example,
Their
medicine
job.
and so whatever. I think it's very good because we use it about 10 years ago. And Cairo, I think it's make a lot of business in the hotel from this kind. It's very, 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 very good, and the rate is very good because our rate in beaches is very low.
Okay, Mr. Mohammed, can you tell us more about the role of new airports in boosting the sector and the security of these airports as well?
Our security in our airports, my opinion, is very good. Okay, I don't look. We take. I visit many country. I visit many airports. It's the same. I think our airport is more security than the other. And we know last year in Belgium what happened in the airport, and Paris what happened in the airport. We have a very good security.
Sir, we have a phone call. Hello?
Hello, yes.
A very good day, sir. Sir, we're tackling today in our program boosting tourism and how can we encourage investors to come and invest in this vital, very important sector, of course, in Egypt. So your point of view, sir.
Yes, definitely, and this is what's actually happening right now. As you all know, 98% of the tourism sector in Egypt is owned by the private sector. So that's why the guidance of the Ministry of Tourism is really very important. However, the biggest role in marketing our tourism sector goes into the private section. Everyone is doing great on this. We're approaching the international markets with the great view right now of the policies of the Ministry of Tourism, highlighting the sustainable tourism efforts in Egypt, as well as the great boost of numbers this year. And based on the UN WTO records for even last year, not even still this year, we have a growth of 16.5% on the tourism sector in Egypt, while all the other countries are maximum of 4%. So we have 4 times more in the growth of the tourist business for Egypt.
Mr. Medhat, an important exhibition for tourism is expected to take place soon in Sharm el-Sheikh, and we're all, of course, waiting to witness this amazing event that will take place. Can you tell us more about it, sir?
Well, it's on the plan. We don't have accurate information about it right now regarding the numbers and the visitors and so on, but it will definitely enrich this area specifically of Egypt. Now we are trying to draw an image, a different image of the tourism in Egypt. We're not depending on the number of nights and number of beds and the figures that we used to mention before, but rather about the growth in each area. So what's happening right now is that we are with the people-to-people campaign that was launched by the ministry in like a few weeks ago in coordination with Beautiful Destinations. We now focus more into every destination in Egypt. So Sharm el-Sheikh is alone. Hurghada has a different nature. Cairo is more into the cultural aspect together with Luxor and Aswan. So having a huge conference like this in Sharm el-Sheikh will definitely highlight the destination, highlight how peaceful Egypt is right now, and definitely the control that we have right now from the security forces and the safety that we have right now in the region.
Okay, sir, finally, could you please tell us or shed light on the tourism boom that Egypt witnessed in 2019, sir?
Yes, I mean, it's like, as I was saying, I just returned from a very successful trip abroad, and we can see the demand is huge. on our destination. Everyone is talking about the great boost of what Egypt is having right now, and also everyone is talking about specifically the Grand Egyptian Museum and the discoveries that we are having every day in the antiquities. So, as you're all aware, that we have more and more new discoveries that is published through the Ministry of Antiquities for this Saturday. Actually, the Minister of Antiquities will publish this in Luxor in the West Bank. So it was a huge discovery. And beside that, the Grand Egyptian Museum opening next year, by the last quarter of next year, is giving a huge boost in marketing the destination. So definitely we're expecting more and more numbers to come, and we are getting ready for it right now.
Mr. Medhat Murad, a touristic expert, we thank you so much, sir, for your knowledgeable information and adding to our program today. Thank you so much, sir. And back again to Mr. Fawzi. Sir, what are the preparations from your point of view for the winter season?
Winter season, we talk about this winter season or 2021?
We're approaching the winter season, which is 2019 to 20, 20 to 21, there's no problem.
First, now in Egypt, I just come from Hurghada 2 days ago. The occupancy in Hurghada, it's very high. That means it, and when I said with companies who deal with Hurghada, they have a recommendation, high recommendation to Hurghada. I think this season it will be very good, starting from November, this November. I think on Hurghada, especially, the occupancy will not be less than 80% total.
Really, sir? Sir, how do you evaluate the campaigns launched by the Ministry of Tourism to boost the sector?
The minister, touristic minister, I think in these times she's working well, and she wanted to improve.
Mm-hmm. Improve. Okay, sir. How optimistic are you when we come to discuss tourism and the importance of tourism in Egypt and in the Egyptian economy?
I will back to the same point which I talk about. I talk about it. The marketing. Mm-hmm. We have to increase our marketing by specialists in touristic. Because
you want to increase the marketing by a touristic specialist?
Yeah. Because our career, it is different. We sell the service. When we sell the service, you cannot touch it by your hand.
Okay, sir, but in light of the stability and security that we witness in Egypt nowadays, I think it's easier to market for tourism, and you said that you need a touristic specialist.
Yeah.
This touristic specialist, who do you mean by this touristic specialist?
The people who work in the career. The people who work in the career. They know the point. Okay? And they have to help our media. For example, you talk about the security. We are very safe in Egypt, but the media outside doesn't see this.
No, the message that the media outside sends is different. It's that they don't. I don't care what they see.
Yeah. For example, they talk about Sinai, about the operations the army is making in Sinai. They doesn't know the Sinai is 3 parts: north, middle, and south. When they talk about Sinai, they talk about all Sinai. For that, our media have to explain. It's more than 700 kilometers between the north and south. And the other area in Egypt, It's very safe. I will tell you, here in Egypt, here in Cairo, you can walk 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock at morning, okay?
Exactly.
And you are safe.
It's 24/7 here in Egypt.
Yeah,
so
you cannot
it's
do
not
that
never
in
anywhere.
Europe or in the United States,
Exactly.
okay? We have to explain this to the people by media, and sometimes working by the marketing team to market Egypt, to market kind of touristic in Egypt. You have the best safari in the world, in the desert.
Safari where, sir?
For example, for the West, Desert West Desert, you have a very long from Siwa to Esna. It's very long.
So how can we promote and
We
market?
promote it by programs. The program, the specialists, they will do it. Okay?
Okay,
And
media. What about social media?
social media, we have now all the world is deal with
Social media.
social media.
Digital.
Okay?
Yeah.
And the digital marketing and the paying online. We still,
And the soft power as well, sir.
yeah, of course, by payroll. Okay? Here in Egypt, still this payment by Visa card is not accepted in all places.
Exactly.
Okay? And in the same times, we have to manage how to sell Egypt online. Hotel, transportation, excursion, they have to be more than, I'm sorry, what they use it now, it's people outside the career, outside the companies. Someone make a website and sell it online. He used it, but they didn't accept it from travel agent.
Okay, sir, briefly before we wrap up today's episode of Cairo Local Time, can you tell us more about the payroll and the definition of payroll?
Our payroll, we can talk about the payroll for the staff and payroll for the touristic. Okay, we have to have a safe transferring to the money because most of websites hacking. Okay, for that they doesn't want to use it. The staff also, they have a payroll cash. They have used the Visa because the credit, it will be very good if you wanna invest because the money in the bank, it will be better than in your pocket.
Mr. Mohammed Fawzi, a touristic expert, we thank you very much for your
You're welcome.
knowledgeable information. Thank you very much for joining us in today's episode of Cairo Local Time. It was our pleasure. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Dear viewers, this is all for today's episode of Cairo Local Time. And until you meet us in another episode, I'm Rana Qassas. I was your host for today's episode of Cairo Local Time. Thank you so much for joining.